And we're back. So welcome everyone to part 3 of my game collection. Hope you enjoyed the first 2 parts. I actually busted out a shovel and dug out some other cool stuff that I have laying around. So let's begin. I was a little harsh towards the Gamecube in the first video, but I got love for the Cube. I'm going to just go through the Gamecube games first. So this is a Game Boy Player startup disc, and actually I didn't realize this when I was filming, but the Game Boy Player was actually attached to the GameCube that I showed. So this is basically a small disc, like a boot disc, and there was an attachment piece that allowed you to put your Game Boy Advance games, Game Boy Color games into the GameCube and then play them. So that's basically what that was. Yeah. So these are my GameCube games. Pretty much got these as they came out. During that era, since I had a good job and a good supply of cash coming in during that GameCube, Xbox, PS2 era, so I've a pretty substantial collection of games from then. Excuse me. So starting off, Super Mario Sunshine, which I actually got was the first game I got with the GameCube. I didn't really like the launch titles. I think it was like Luigi's Mansion, some other games. So I actually waited till Super Mario Sunshine came out. I picked that up with the system, and pretty good game. I think it's underrated. I don't think it's quite as good as like the Mario 64 games or the Mario games on the Wii, like the Galaxy games that came after that. But cool title. It's fun. Sonic Mega Collection. Being a big fan of the classic Sonic games, I picked that up. And this is also the era where they started to like really rehash, these collections and try to, capitalize on that. So you saw a lot of that stuff during that generation of games that they'd be like these Genesis collections or so on and so forth. So that was cool. Resident Evil 4, which I really enjoyed. I love that game. I think you all know about that. Metroid Prime. Good stuff. Didn't really like it as much as like Super Metroid or the older classic style Metroid games, but pretty sweet. Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes. It's actually a double disc game. Yeah, it's way cool. It's like a remake of the original Metal Gear game. Or a remake of Metal Gear Solid, basically. So, there you go. Mario Kart Double Dash. Driving cars. Shooting turtle shells at each other. Wish I could do that in my real car. Had a lot of fun with that one. And then Mario Golf, which is I'm actually a fan of. I don't know if people really play. I talked about this in the last one. I had the 64 version. So I got this one too. 64 version might be a little better. But this one's cool. I had a good time with that. Now this is a kind of like a rare title. I think you got this if you pre-ordered Wind Waker. And this has Ocarina of Time and Ocarina of Time Master Quest, which is like a more difficult version of Ocarina of Time that I believe came out in Japan only. So they put this out. I don't really remember how you got this. I think it either came with Wind Waker or you had to like pre-order Wind Waker. Something like that. And here's Wind Waker. This game's really underrated. I actually enjoyed the graphical style of it. This is when they switched over to the cel shading look. People were freaking out, jumping off buildings and shit, blowing their brains out because of that. But it's actually like a really beautiful environment, world, and graphics. So I liked it. Not the greatest Zelda game ever, but way good. And this is another one of these collector's edition Zelda things. I don't remember how you get. But as you can see, it's got the original Zelda 2. Ocarina is also on this. Wow. And then it's got Majora's Mask on it too. So this is like a pretty rare thing to have, I believe. And it's not for resale. So yeah, I got that. I think it's worth something. I don't know. I'll probably hold on to it. Why not? Killer 7. This game looks like it came from Blockbusters. I recognize Yeah, it actually says Blockbuster on the tag. Blockbuster back in the day was way good to find games cheap, because basically, like, before they became a retail store and actually tried to sell games, what they would do is they would, like, rent games out, and then if no one was renting them, they just blow them out. So I got great stuff from there. I remember I got the Street Fighter collection for PS1. I got there like really cheap. I got, obviously this game. A bunch of games I got there for like, under $5. And sometimes those games be worth like, a lot more than that. So there's the Mighty Ikaruga. Really cool, challenging, fun game. Shoot 'em up type of deal. This game, you should definitely try it out. It's on the Xbox Live Arcade. And really, really tough, but really good too. And fun, so. And then F-Zero GX, which I really liked. Really underrated game. A lot of underrated games on the Gamecube. Gamecube didn't really sell as well as the PS2. I think a lot of these good games got like lost in the shuffle of things. But this was really good, really fast, great graphics, really fun. I hope they make a new one for the Wii. That'd be fun. So that's the GameCube stuff. Let's move on to the original Xbox. And the original Xbox is another one, Didn't really sell quite as good as the PS2, but there's a couple titles that may be just as good, if not better, than anything that's on the PS2. So I think I have a couple of those. I'll point those out when we get to them. So on top, we got Jade Empire, which is the guys, the BioWare guys, the Mass Effect guys. Big fan of BioWare. Pretty much anything they make, I always pick it up. This one came out after. First they made it, I think Star Wars: Knights of the Republic came out, and this came out after that, and wasn't really as critically acclaimed, but was definitely good. Panzer Dragoon, very interesting game, made by Sega. Flying a Dragon, good game. Then you got your standard Halo. Now, believe it or not, this is actually the only Halo game I've played. So yeah, when I got the Xbox, I think it came with Halo, or I got it with Halo, something like that. And I did enjoy it. I remember, Halo 1 did not have online play on the original Xbox, on Xbox Live. So there was like this bootleg setup where you ran it through like your PC, and then you can connect and all that stuff. And one of my neighbors actually had that setup going. So it was like a bootleg setup that let you play online, actually play online. And I remember we had like this big Halo party, and I had like the big fat controller, the old fat Xbox controller. And there's this kid that showed up and like wound up stealing like everyone's controllers. Like all of a sudden he's like, I gotta go. And he just like took everyone's controller. I think everyone's like eating pizza or something. So that was kind of a funny deal. I didn't really like that big controller, but I like to hold. Obviously, I like to hold on to certain items, so that's something I would have liked to keep, just because it was such a big atrocity of a controller. But there's your Halo. This is Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic 2, which I really liked. This one was actually done by Obsidian. I think BioWare didn't do that one, but it didn't really have the review score of the original. But I still really liked it. I still recommend anyone play this game and the original game, because they are so way good. In my opinion, the best Star Wars games ever. So, there's the original. This game was so much fun. And these are one of the games I was talking about that was exclusive to the Xbox. It was also on the PC, but if you're just a console person, this game stands up next to anything that was on the PS2. It was way good, so people should check it out. There's X-Men Legends 1 and X-Men Legends 2. These are the games that came out basically before the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games. They made these first. And there's certain things about these games that I liked, I appreciated and liked. It was more RPG-ish, especially in the first one. There's like a ton of different items you can get, and more customization for your characters. Whereas the Ultimate Alliance games, you kind of lost a lot of that, especially in the second one. So I'd like to see them, if they make more of these Marvel games, I'd like to see them go back and maybe, take some of the things out of these games that were good and put them back in. Well, being the fighting game person that I am, here's a King of Fighters collection. You have King of Fighters 2003 and 2002. And these are the kind of games I never really played the hell of a lot out of them, but just like I like to have them. I think they become rare and hard to find. So, I dig having these things. There's another King of Fighters Neo Wave, which is a good one. It's got like a revamped engine, or not a revamped engine, but a revamped graphical style. They switched from the old Neo Geo hardware to a new one called the Atomic Wave. So this one had like better graphics and stuff like that. It was also in the arcade in Chinatown, New York, which I would check out once in a while. So pick it up on the Xbox. What the fuck is this? Oh yeah, this is Psychonauts, which was hugely critically acclaimed game, and then it didn't really. I don't think it really sold that well, but it's way good. It's by Tim Schafer, I believe, who was the Brutal Legend guy. Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. I love this game. I thought it was really fun. It was also on the PS2. Now, certain games I would get on the Xbox, I had both. Actually, I had all three systems, in the day. Certain ones I would get on the Xbox instead, just because the graphics were sometimes better. If you looked at the reviews back in the day, they would tell you. So that's why I got this on the Xbox. I played this with my friend, did the co-op. Awesome, fun game. Definitely check that out if you're like a buddy or something. This is SVC Chaos. Now, basically, Capcom and SNK had signed a deal that each company can make a versus game using the other company's characters. So what you got was Capcom vs. SNK 2, made by Capcom. They made Capcom vs. SNK 1 and 2. That was made by Capcom. And then SNK made SNK vs. Capcom Chaos. And there was a lot of hype for this game. A lot of people were excited about it. And it didn't really turn out to be that great, which is unfortunate. But I do own it on the Xbox because it only came out. It was Xbox exclusive. So, there you go. Spawn. Not the best game ever, but I was a big Spawn fan back in the day. So, I actually have like the first 100 issues of the comic or something. So, I was like, alright, whatever. Probably didn't cost too much. Spider-Man 2. Some people still say this is the best Spider-Man game ever. I don't know if I agree with that, but it's fun. It's got the open world-ish kind of thing going on. Okay, so this is another one of those great games that was only on the Xbox. You got your Ninja Gaiden, and then later on Ninja Gaiden Black came out. And this game was freaking awesome. I still think it's better than Ninja Gaiden 2, which is on the 360. It's probably one of the greatest games ever. Certainly one of my favorite games ever. Check that out if you haven't done it. The original Fable. There was so much hype for this game. Didn't really live up to the hype or what Peter Molyneux was promising. But also good. Also only on the Xbox, so that was fun. I don't know what this is. Doom 3 speaks for itself. There's Genma Onimusha. I was a big Onimusha fan. I have all 4 releases on the PS2. So here's the Xbox version that they made with like some added stuff in it. And yeah, so hopefully they'll make a new one for the new systems, or the current systems. And then Shenmue 2, which comes with like a DVD or something. Yeah, I got this later on. I think I got this like probably a year or 2 ago, just because I was trying to like finish out my Xbox collection of like the games I wanted. So I basically looked through the entire list of releases that ever came out on the Xbox, and this is one of the games I didn't have, so I made sure I got it. So that's pretty much it for the Xbox. I don't think there's any other game that came out that I want. So there was like a bunch of games that I had that I got rid of. That goes for all the systems. I had like Capcom vs. SNK2 on the Xbox. I sold that. A bunch of other stuff. Should have kept a list of like what actually I sold because I just don't remember, and it's kind of sad. So whatever. Moving on here. Found a couple NES games that I have. I don't know why. Got Friday the 13th on the NES with Jason on the cover. We got the other Rambo pictured there, and this game's probably not that great, but I have it. And Schwarzenegger's Predator. I don't know if that's good. I doubt it. This is probably stuff I just got later on, probably from like Funko Land or something, that I didn't really, play. I just got it for the hell of it. So that's that. I want to do the Genesis and some other stuff, but it looks like we're going long in the video, so I'm going to split this again. So this is like a marathon. Stay tuned for more.